Guys, welcome to Surreal Beauty, where we talk books, blogs, and fashion. And today I'm back with another video. I want to jump into my latest project, How to Be a Rich Bitch. I'm so excited to share some of the cool details, inspirations, and just honestly the overall background of me creating this new guide. It is available on my website at Surreal Beauty by Tiffany. That is www.sbbytiffany.com. Get your copy today. And yes, it is an ebook, so as soon as you purchase, you have access to the book immediately, provided to your email. So that's the greatest part about it. So yes, so honestly, this book was definitely inspired by a train of events in my life. But honestly, How to Be a Rich Bitch, I know it may sound like, okay, how do I make millions of dollars? But really, it's like not what you expect. It's how do we fix our inner selves, because that's where our gold is. We have hidden talents, abilities, capabilities, and skill sets that we already possess. And so instead of looking to the outside world to tell us who we are, to help define us, we have all of that assets and all it is that we need to be great within us already. So I shed a lot of light of that into the book. And so I want to just jump into some questions, because you guys know I always write down my thoughts on paper, and I also want to share some lines from the book as well with you guys, so that you have a little bit of taste of what to expect, because it may be vague or something of that sort. So my inspiration behind this book, so now I'll be honest, I went through a phase where, I had a very small mindset, meaning I didn't think big. You ever heard of that terminology of think big, don't think small? You want to attract big things into your life. So I wasn't really operating at my highest potential once upon a time. And it had came upon me just going through crazy events in my life where I was operating with the poverty mindset. And I talk about that in my book. I talk about that a little bit more in some of my other videos, but I want to get more into like the other nitty gritty stuff. But yes, I do open up about me just having a poverty mindset and where that stemmed from. And so this book was inspired based on you attract what you are. So whatever you are, you know that's what you attract. And so we want to do our best to be our best self so that we can attract greatness into our lives. And so that is the embodiment behind How to Be a Rich Bitch. And so the inspiration had to do with series of situations and events in my life where I was attracting not the things that I desired, really because of what was on the inside. So I had to really start taking the time to this day where I looked at myself in the mirror and I questioned myself. I checked myself. I'm constantly doing the inner work to become a better version of myself. And that's truly what How to Be a Rich Bitch is about. So my inspiration came from, it was actually an individual, but I can't just say it was just this one person that allowed me to have this huge change. However, they did have a significant factor into me changing and transitioning to become a better self. And I was just tired of having a poor mindset. Being broke is a mentality. Being poor is a mentality. What's in here and what's inside of us, no one can take that. So that's truly where our true riches are. So that was the inspiration behind How to Be a Rich Bitch. And so a bit of my story of it, again, I go a bit more deep into it in the book about my story where I used to experience being homeless. I said homelessness, I'm sorry. But I experienced being homeless, and I experienced poverty. I experienced lack. I experienced sleeping in the cars, sleeping on the floors, going to shelters. It's stuff that's just not fun. This is not something I'd wish on anyone. And it has a lot of detrimental effect on individuals emotionally and mentally, psychologically. And so it is important to do the inner work to undo the doing. And I also talk about that in How to Be a Rich Bitch. So definitely get your copy because it's worth it. I share how I broke through the mental chains. It's bondage, really. So I talk about how I break through that and what it took, because people may not know this, but anything that causes traumatic experiences within us, or psychological, let's say, bondage or mental illness, it takes a lot of work on our parts to undo all the things that were done. So in my case, dealing with homelessness and a lot more that I will open up and share with you guys. But specifically with this, what it did to me mentally when I was a younger girl, I didn't realize the detrimental effect that it would have on me as I got older. It shaped the way that I looked at not only myself but the world, and it shaped the decisions that I made until I was forced to like look in the mirror, because I no longer wanted to look at my life through those lenses. And so it took me having to look in the mirror, really having to like do the work and break out of the mindset, of the mentality. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. It's hard, but it's possible. And I talk about that more in depth. So definitely get your copy of How to Be a Rich Bitch, because anyone who's dealing with anything that has set them paralyzed or stuck in a time where maybe they were experiencing something traumatic, having to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I no longer want to live my life this way. I no longer want to be depressed. I no longer want to live my life in fear, whatever the case may be. I open up with my story in this book, How to Be a Rich Bitch, on how I overcame such struggles and tragedies, and what I'm continuously doing to this day to still do the work to overcome it. So it's a lot of spiritual warfare, a lot of mental illnesses, that impacts all of us. So we have to really be willing to do the work to break out, So I want to just share my story. So what did I discover? I discovered that honestly, we are more powerful than we can ever imagine, and we are smarter, more intelligent, powerful beings. And we have the power within ourselves to change and become who and what we want to be. That is a fact, Just look at the many greats around the world who have taken the time to tap in and showcase their talents, to really be their best selves. The same thing with you and I. And I just wanted to get to a place where I no longer was the victim. I wanted to be the victor. I didn't want to talk about my story from the lens of I wish or with regret. I could have been this or I could have did that. I wanted to change the narrative in my life. I no longer wanted to identify with that story of lack and poverty, just because that was something that I had to experience younger. I don't have to live my life with that same narrative. I have the power to change it, and so in How to Be a Rich Bitch, I really talk about what I did and steps that are necessary to take to, make that 180 reverse change. So yes, guys, it gets really deep. It gets so real, but I wanted to just share some insight on that. And honestly, just looking at my notes, I wanted to just read a little bit from my book, How to Be a Rich Bitch, and just share with you guys just a taste of what it is. So I'm just looking. So we'll start right here. In all honesty, I turned away from me and tried to become what society said I should be. It wasn't cool to be yourself. After many failed attempts of trying to conform, I came across the crossroads of following the crowd or going the path less traveled. I was forced to ask myself a series of questions. Do I want to continue living my life this way? Shall I continue living this false narrative? Do I continue living an unhappy life? I couldn't take it anymore. It is the most exhausting, unsatisfying, lifeless state of being, period. I wanted to break out and have my own identity. And once I decided to do so, not only was I free, but I was inspired to write this very book you're reading today. There are steps that are critical to take to reach your breakthrough and get to the other side. Your best version of you living your best life. The version that operates at the highest level with the strong pursuit and purpose. The one that is the rich bitch. So yes, that's a little, some of the words in the book. But yes, so I'm really excited to just share that with you guys. Again, this is just my story, sharing it with you, and my experiences that I'm sharing with you, and how I was able to overcome inner battles and struggles. Because what I realized was I may have been chasing this job or this money or this and that, but really I always found myself stuck. Like I wasn't really making it to the next level. I found like I was just hitting the wall constantly, and I wasn't really powering through. So I had to really like stop and think to myself, okay, what am I missing? What am I not doing? I needed healing. You know, a lot of people, a lot of us, when we experience trauma, we don't necessarily take the time to heal or debrief, you know. Again, this was just something in my psychology background that I learned. And, you know, obviously if I'm learning this stuff in school, I should take it into consideration in my own life. And that's, you know, what I did, you know. So people won't tell you that, well, I'm here to tell you, but people won't tell you that we have all the power, we possess all the power, everything that we're seeking and that we want, we already possess it. People will not tell you that, but I'm here to tell you, we already have the power. Everything that we need is within us. You know, it is just up to us to tap in and take it out, bring it to life. You know, that is our role as creators here on this earth. You know, so that just leads into my next point about the purpose, the importance of like knowing who you are and your purpose in life. I think for myself, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys can relate, but I just know for myself that not having purpose, not knowing who I was, had me very confused, very lost in life. And typically when you don't know who you are, what you stand for, you kind of fall for anything. You follow the crowd. And I just got tired of following the crowd. You know, some things, like, I just feel like I have ideas and creative ideas, innovative ideas that I want to put out and push forward, you know. And sometimes when you go against the crowd, you know, you kind of are looked at as like the oddball or the odd whatever, you know. But really tapping into your purpose, discovering who you are is beautiful. You know, you have reason, you know, you have will, you have drive. You know, if you ever wonder like how are people able to just accomplish great things, it's because they have drive, they have reason. You know, when they get up every day, no, it's not easy to be great, no, it's not easy to attain that dream life or whatever goals it is that you want, but why do you want it? You know, whatever that why is, whatever that drive, that fuel, that why is so strong, it fuels the machine, it fuels, you know, you. And so having purpose and living your life on purpose is so beautiful. It's so important. You know, I believe so. And so, yeah, so I share about that and how to be a rich bitch. So definitely if you're interested, check it out. The link is below. And it is an ebook, like I said before. And it's available at Surreal Beauty by Tiffany. That is www.sbbytiffany.com. I am so excited for you guys to read it and would love to hear your thoughts and comments, opinions, and things like that. Definitely leave some comments below because I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can also email me and we can have a discussion. And I'm also considering doing one-on-one. So yes, I will dive more deep into this. But again, thanks for stopping by. And until next time, have a good one, guys.